She left me for another man. Now she's crying to come back. Part 1. The message. My ex recently got divorced. Her husband left her for a 23-year-old colleague. She's now 36, I'm 38, and her ex is 43. They have 3 daughters, ages 8, 4, and 3. One day she messaged me on Facebook, said she couldn't breathe when she saw my face again, told me I looked amazing while she had aged. She found me through our college alumni group right after I joined. I responded, trying to be friendly, but the pain came back immediately. I had spent 3 years getting over her betrayal. Healing was slow and painful. Back in college, she bet her friends she'd never date someone like me. One of them told me that. It stung. She was influenced by her circle. They called me weak, not man enough for her. Said she needed someone strong. It always felt like they were projecting their own insecurities. I warned her not to share personal things with those friends. She never listened. She cried in that first message. Said she didn't know who to trust anymore. But back then, she trusted them more than me. And in the end, she cheated on me. Not just once, but with multiple guys, at least 10, including some of our mutual friends. It was chaos, mid-2000s. She claimed she was drunk, that it meant nothing. She tried to fix things, but trust once broken is hard to mend. I tried, I stayed, but I couldn't live with it anymore. We broke up. It crushed me. I missed her, her laugh, her hugs, her warmth. I couldn't move on for years. Only when I ran into a mutual friend at a bookstore did it shift. I asked about her. He said she forgot me quickly. That hurt more than anything. She never reached out, never asked about me. And soon after our breakup, she started seeing other men. One of them was even a friend of ours. My friends, they all became hers. That broke me too. Part 2. The collapse. Those weren't real friends. They lied to my face, covered up what she did, and talked behind my back. That's when I realized they were never truly mine. She told me she had married someone else, and then she dropped the bomb. She had seen me during the pandemic, from afar, said I still looked amazing. Meanwhile, her life was falling apart. Her husband had cheated on her with a younger woman. And the worst part, the other woman was pregnant. That's when it hit her. Everything she thought she had built had collapsed. She told me she fought to save her marriage. But once her husband admitted the affair and the pregnancy, the divorce happened fast. She said she wanted full custody. He agreed to minimal visits. Said it was the least he could do after the pain he caused. It sounded noble, but I couldn't help wondering if it really hit him at all, or if she was just trying to make it sound that way. She told me her sister and friends had approved of that man, that they encouraged her to be with him. Said he was the better choice, more stable, more manly. And now, years later, she was alone with 3 kids and broken dreams. I remember her saying to me, "You were caring, grounded, loyal, but I was stupid. I listened to them instead of my heart. I didn't say anything in return. I couldn't. All I could do was sit in silence and relive what it felt like when she walked away." She asked me about my life, if I had a wife, if I had kids. I told her no. Then she sent me old photos of us together. Like time hadn't passed. Like she wanted to rewind everything. And that's when I felt it. The rage I had buried deep. How could she pretend it was all okay? Did she not remember how it ended? She chose her friends over me. She betrayed my trust. And now she wanted a second chance, just because she lost everything. Part 3. The return. She abandoned me, left me with nothing. Never cared about me, not then. And now she was reaching out because she'd lost her looks and her husband. I kept calm. She asked to hear my voice. Wanted to know if she could call. I didn't know if I should, but I agreed. The moment I said hello, she broke down crying. Said she couldn't believe it, that she missed my voice, that she couldn't breathe. She meant it. Those were real tears. I asked if she was okay, told her not to cry. She said she couldn't stop thinking about me, about my smile, my jokes, how I used to make her laugh, even remembered the smell of my cologne. I held back during the call. My feelings were all over the place. It was bittersweet hearing the voice of someone I once loved deeply, but who had stabbed me in the back. She asked if we could meet. I didn't know what to say, so I ended the call. Later, she messaged me, "Forgive me." I replied, "Forgive you for what?" She didn't answer directly. Just wrote, "Can I explain in person? It would be easier." I said, "Maybe we shouldn't meet because of the pandemic." She insisted, "We can eat outside. I just need to see you. I can't handle this anymore." She admitted she had listened to bad advice, that she cried for days, said she didn't know what to do, claimed she wanted to be with me, but was told I was a nobody, a pretty boy, the type who'd cheat. So she cheated first at a party, with several people, just to make me leave her, because she knew I never would on my own. Said her family and friends never liked me, and she couldn't choose me over them. Part 4. The Conversation. I told her I didn't want to revisit it, that it still hurt. Told her to focus on her kids, and maybe one day she'd meet a single dad and build something real. I asked my aunts and cousins for advice. They all said the same. She's a devil in disguise. Don't waste your time. She never loved you. One aunt said something that stuck with me. When you were hurting, was she ever there? If roles were reversed, would she fight for you? I said no, not a chance. Then her old friends messaged me, said if I truly loved her, I'd give her a second chance. That made me angry. What about me? She broke me, left me with nothing. And now they were guilt-tripping me like I owed her something. Part 5. The Confrontation. I struggled with myself, but I met her. That was my mistake, replying to her message, taking the call, agreeing to meet. I tried not to be angry. When I arrived, she was already waiting outside the restaurant. I didn't recognize her at first. She sat with her face in her hands, crying. When she looked up, I realized it was her. She rushed over and hugged me. I didn't hug her back. My arms hung at my sides. People stared. An elderly woman passing by asked, "Did you just return from the military?" I said, "No, just an old college friend." She smiled and said, "She's very emotional for an old friend. You two look good together." I knew then this was a bad idea. She was overly emotional. People thought we were lovers reuniting. Maybe she even thought that. We sat outside, ordered food. She looked older, heavier. She told me she missed me, showed me photos of her daughters, said they looked like their father. She was glowing with pride. I wasn't glowing at all. I played along. We ate. Then I asked to talk alone. We walked to a nearby park and sat on a bench. She admitted she was bad at expressing herself. Said she ruined everything. Said she'd understand if I never wanted to see her again. But added, if I hadn't gone through all of it, the men, the marriage, the betrayal, I would never have realized that you were the one. Part 6. The Breakdown. That's when I lost it. I couldn't hold it in anymore. I started calmly. "Let's be clear," I said. "You're still friends with the people who trashed me, who you kissed at parties, had flings with. You left me, the one who loved you the most, the one who had no one else, and you left me with nothing. You did this. I asked if she still talked to those same friends. She started crying and said yes. That was it for me. I told her she betrayed me, and now she wanted me back after her husband left her for someone younger. She cried harder, said she understood, but I snapped. Do you even realize how arrogant it is to offer me this now? Like I won some prize. What exactly do I get out of this? You've already cheated, lied, left me with nothing, had kids with someone else, and now you're back. Part 7. The Fallout. She sobbed uncontrollably. Then came the panic attack. Said she didn't know what to say, just that she was sorry. That she punished herself every day. I yelled, "You're such a liar. You forgot about me. You never cried over me." She asked how I knew. I said, "It doesn't matter. You dated guys right after we broke up." I was told. I saw it. I told her I carried the guilt, thought I was to blame, but she kept lying, never checked on me. I said, "This isn't to hurt you. It's because I know what'll happen next. You'll run to your sisters and friends again. Ask what to think, and they'll feed you the same nonsense they always have." Part 8. The Closure. I told her I once wanted to marry her, that I wanted her to have my kids, that I would have never left her if she had chosen me. She whispered, "I know." Her sister called. She had to go pick up her kids. Our meeting was over. I walked her to her car. She tried to hug me again. I said no, but she insisted I let her. She buried her face in my chest, inhaled deeply, said she missed the way I smelled. Later that night, she messaged me. "I won't stop fighting for you. You were right. I gave myself to others, but I never felt what I felt with you. I fought my feelings, listened to others, and I paid the price." She said I deserved a fresh start with someone new, younger, kinder, but she still hoped, still wanted to prove herself, still loved me. I never replied. Update I. The aftermath. After our meeting, I went silent. I didn't block her, but I stopped replying. She kept messaging me on Facebook. Then she stopped. Right before Christmas, she sent me a message with text and voice. Asked what my plans were for the holidays. She included a quote about forgiveness and learning life's lessons, a story about someone who matured too late, and how people learn at different paces. It was obvious she was talking about herself. She said she didn't realize the pain she caused until she had lost everything. That now she feels what I once felt. But I didn't respond. Not after Christmas either. Then, one of her friends messaged me. Called me a pathetic excuse for a man. Said I was a coward who didn't deserve her. Called me weak for not forgiving and moving on. Claimed a real man would never hurt a woman the way I did, by ignoring her. I answered. I said, she cheated on me. Left me. Never thought of me again. Had kids with a man you introduced her to. A man you said was better than me. The same man who cheated on her. And now you want to guilt me into taking her back. Her friend didn't reply. Just wrote, "This conversation is over. You lost her. It's 2021. Women deserve better." I reminded her it was she who pushed my ex into the arms of the man who destroyed her. The same man she used to badmouth to me. Turns out, she did the same to me. She smeared her ex before me, told everyone he mistreated her. But I met him by chance. He turned out to be a decent guy. Said he had no idea she spread those stories. When I showed him old texts from her, where she called him a drunk and useless, he was shocked. He also knew about me, but she had told him I was just a friend from college. That's when it all clicked. This is her pattern. She demonizes the man she leaves, then chases the next one. When I didn't block her, I wanted her to see my profile, to see young women commenting on my photos, to know that I moved on, that I was happy, that she had no place in my life anymore. I ignored her messages, her voice notes, even though I knew she was probably crying. When I saw her in person, she was no longer that radiant girl I once knew. She kept calling me beautiful, said she felt ugly next to me, that no one looked at her like before. Maybe that's karma. I never yelled at her back then. I never hurt her, and I still didn't reply. Then came the message from my ex-colleague. She's 27. Wrote, "Hey handsome, long time no see, old man." Said she was moving back to California and wanted to meet. I think my ex saw my response. Maybe it hurt. Maybe she got jealous. Maybe she ran back to her sisters and friends. But this time, I didn't care. I felt sorry for her. She was indecisive. I'm not the kind of guy who seeks revenge. I endured everything, left it behind. What remains now are just painful memories. Update 2. Her circle, my clarity. What stood out most wasn't just her apology. It was the people around her. Her toxic friends, her controlling sister, even her father who used to hate me. They all came out of nowhere, now asking me to help her move on. Her father actually messaged me, saying my daughter is suffering. Please, help her get closure. Closure. She never gave me any. This was the same man who once adored the guy she married, the one who cheated and left her. And now he had the audacity to pressure me into cleaning up the mess. It was absurd. I was furious. I thanked my aunts and cousins for opening my eyes. Her father wanted me to accept her back now that she had been discarded with 3 children. No, that pain isn't mine to heal. He tried to guilt trip me, said I was being cruel. I kept thinking, where was this energy when I was left broken and alone? No one cared about my healing back then. Now suddenly her suffering matters more. No, I kept my distance. And the pressure didn't stop. Her friends messaged me again, saying I owed her forgiveness if I ever loved her. They said I was being immature and cold, said I should be a man. But I remembered how they encouraged her to cheat, how they lied to me. One even told her, you should sleep with different men before settling down. And now they wanted to shame me for protecting myself. My ex didn't even block these women. She still listened to them. That was enough for me. She used to run to them for every disagreement we had. They'd tell her what she wanted to hear. It's not your fault. She could never handle guilt or being wrong. Her sister even told her to give me an ultimatum once, to write down a list of demands. Her father believed a man should do this and that. He judged me because I didn't hold her hand walking through the mall. The same man who cheered on the guy who ended up betraying her. And all because I was the pretty boy in the football team. They thought I'd cheat, but I never did. In the end, the man they trusted betrayed her, and I stayed loyal. But somehow, I was still the one disqualified. I never responded to her again. Update 3. Letting go. The saddest part is that, even now, I still remember how she used to look at me. Before all the noise. Before the betrayals. There was a moment when we were real. When it was just us. But that moment's gone. Buried under years of hurt, manipulation, and regret. She made her choice, and I finally made mine. I chose peace. One chose myself. She wanted me back not because of love, but because she had nowhere else to go. Because the life she built on others' advice fell apart, and now she looked back at me, like I was a shelter she abandoned during a storm, only to realize no other house could keep her warm. But I'm not a backup plan. I was the main story all along. She just didn't see it, And now, it's too late. And that's the end of the story. If you felt something, hit like, subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye.